guys, so in today's video I'm going to show you how I get these curls, which are the curls that I wear pretty much every day, and I get a lot of questions about how I curl them, whether it's from my friends or from people here on YouTube. So today I thought I would go ahead and show you just exactly how I do them. It's a pretty simple technique, but it is a little bit different than I think a lot of people curl them, and it does give you these super bouncy curls which will last you 3 days, which is amazing, especially if you're like me and are lazy. So before I get into the video, I know I'm going to get questions about this necklace because, hello, it is beautiful. And it's actually been sent to me by a company called Happiness Boutique. They have so many amazing pieces of jewelry. I'm in love with them. I'm doing a Valentine's Day outfits video that will hopefully go up sometime in the next few weeks. So yeah, I just wanted to give them a quick shout out because they were nice enough to send it to me and I happen to be wearing it in today's video. So if you do want to go check them out, I'm going to have their information listed in the bottom bar below. And other than that, let's go get into the tutorial. Alright guys, so here I am with my natural hair. As you can see, I don't really know what it does. So step number 1 is to apply heat protectant, and this is super important because it's going to protect your hair from excessive heat damage. Obviously when you're using a hot tool, you're going to get some amount of heat damage, but using a heat tamer spray like this one can prevent that. So this is Tresemme Heat Tamer Spray. You can pick it up at the drugstore. I just put it in a little purple travel size bottle because it's more convenient. So I'm just going to spritz that through my hair. I like to concentrate this mainly on the ends because those are the most damaged areas. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take my brush and brush it through. And while I'm doing this, I'm letting my curling iron heat up. This is the Hot Tools 1-inch curling iron, and it's the one with the little clamp. So just a standard curling iron. The 1-inch barrel works great for my hair length and my hair texture and my hair thickness, but if you're someone who has really thick hair, you might want to use a bigger barrel so that it doesn't take as long, or if you have really fine hair, you might want to use a smaller barrel so that you get smaller curls. Really, it'll just depend, but for me, I found that this barrel is a great size. Now I'm going to go ahead and section my hair off, and to be honest, if I am just like on a regular day, like, you know, curling my hair for class or whatever, I usually don't section it, and I find that if you don't section it, you kind of get more natural looking curls. So you can either section it or not, it's really up to you. But then I'm just going to go ahead and start with this front section. So if you curl your hair, you're probably like, okay, like I get this is how I always do my hair. The thing that makes my technique different is that I use a technique that a lot of hairstylists use, and so if you went to like a salon or you went and got your hair blown out, things like that, this is probably how they would do it, and it gives really bouncy, natural looking curls. So what I do is I take my curling iron and I'm going to have the clamp part facing out, and I like to take my pointer finger and use that on the trigger, or like my 2 front fingers, and then I'm going to take a 1-inch section of hair. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the clamp and I'm going to clamp it about halfway down the hair, and then I'm going to rotate the barrel away from my face while I'm using my thumb to release the trigger so that I can slide it down my hair to incorporate more. And as I'm doing this, I'm also turning the barrel up so that it's incorporating the entire length of the hair. And then when I get to the bottom, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to hold this for, on my hair, honestly, like 3 or 4 seconds is plenty, and then I'll release the trigger and let it down. And that's like the entire technique. So I will explain it on the other side because that seems to be, at least when I've talked to friends, where they have the most trouble. So we're going to do the exact same thing. I like to start back at the back portion of my hair. TBH, already filmed this video, filmed this entire half of my head, then realized my camera hadn't saved because it died, so that's why I'm just going to get started straight on this side. But on this side, what you have to note is that you're actually going to flip the way that the barrel is facing. So before we had it facing out, now it's going to be facing in towards me, and it's going to go underneath the hair so that, again, we can curl away from our face. And as you can see, I'm just turning the barrel and releasing the clamp, and so you're always creating these curls that are going away from your face because I think that they look the best. And then once I have done that, I'm just going to release it. So I'll show you again on a couple more pieces of hair. On this side, since for a lot of people their non-dominant side is going to be this side, and it's the hardest side to do. So again, we're going to have the clamp part facing me, or facing you, and you're going to clamp it halfway down the hair, grab the top, so I'm bringing this hand over my head, which looks funny, but then you're just going to do the same thing where you're releasing the trigger using your thumb and curling up towards your head. So this really honestly just takes practice, and that's kind of all it amounts to. Honestly, I think if you just sit down for like 2 or 3 hours over, you know, however many days and just continue to do this, it'll become very, very natural. And there are a couple ways that you can vary this. So for example, sometimes I want a little bit messier waves or curls, And so what I'll do is I'll leave this little piece of the end, where is it, sticking out. Did I do that on this one? Yes, I left the end sticking out. So as you can see, the end didn't get curled. And now I like to pull on it a little bit just to loosen the curl. And it gives you a little bit more of a wave rather than a strict curl. So like I said earlier, you can also use different barrel sizes. Obviously a bigger barrel size is going to give you a bigger wave rather than a tighter curl. And how long you hold it in your hair will also determine how curly it is. So you can really play around with this. There's a lot of ways to get creative. And yeah, I just kind of go through and do exactly the same thing through all the rest of the pieces of my hair. So when I finished a layer, if I did section my hair, I like to run my hands through it to loosen it up a little bit, just because I don't like my curls to be too structured. That was one thing I never realized when I first started curling my hair, is that it looks so much better and more natural if you kind of pull it out, play with it, and don't leave in those like ringlet curls. So with these more front pieces, and actually all of this top section, you'll notice that I'm not curling all the way up to the roots. And that's because it looks very strange and unnatural if you're doing bigger curls. And then with my bangs, I like to run my curling iron through it without curling, like just kind of curving it down, because like I said, I have kind of textured hair. So especially with the bangs, I want to combat the like natural cowlick that I have. And then I, again, may straighten over it. But depending on the length of your bangs, you're going to want to just curl the part at maybe the bottom half to 2/3 of the hair, so that you're getting just enough to incorporate it into the other pieces that you have on this side. So like you can see, I've just done it so that it can kind of tuck in here, and I just curl it once, and then when I have all of my hair let down at the end, I will retouch that as well as any other pieces just to make sure that the whole thing looks good together. So once I've finished, I take down the rest of my hair and I run my hands through it immediately. If you have hard to curl hair, maybe let this set for a while, add some hairspray, things like that. I never add hairspray to my hair because I don't like how it feels, and my hair holds a curl really well, so I don't need that. And now what I am going to do is go in and straighten up this top of my hair, just because it is looking kind of funky, and I will be right back. I'm not going to do that on camera just because I really can't see what I'm doing, and I don't want to burn myself. So, but it's very, very simple. All I'm going to do is just take layers and straighten just the top like thirds. So be right back and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so I went back and I just went ahead and straightened those top pieces, and as you can see, that makes a huge difference. And then the last two things I'll do to kind of finish off the look is I will go and I'll look for any pieces at the top here that are just kind of flat and lying too much against my head, and I'll just add a little curl here. So I will curl a little bit closer to the roots, but I make sure not to hold it for too long up there. And then I'll just take it out and I'll kind of scrunch it up as I'm doing it, and this just adds a little bit more volume to the hair. So you can just kind of play around with that. Again, touch up any pieces that you see as needing to be touched up. And then the last thing I do is I pull all of my hair to the back and I just kind of feel along. So I'll show you what the back of the hair looks like now. The one downside to curling your hair like this with it sectioned in two is that you'll miss like the top half of the back of your hair. So sometimes if that's the look you're going for, if you don't mind it kind of tapering off in the back, it's not a bad thing. But what I like to do is curl these pieces all the way up to the top and just take like 3 or 4 pieces all along the back, and I'll let these set a little bit longer and then rake them out at the end. So I go through and I usually do like 2 in each direction. So 2 away from the left side of my face and then 2 away from the right side of my face. And like I said, this just kind of evens it out and makes it look like you have curls going all the way around. And this is something that, you know, maybe you won't try your first or second or third time, and you'll wait until you feel a lot more comfortable doing, because you really can't see what you're doing. So you have to kind of understand how the curling iron is moving and stuff like that. So once I've done that, I just kind of run my hands through those, and now I'll show you the back, and you can see it has a lot more volume. And it looks a lot more cohesive. So now I have curls throughout the back. And yeah, that's the last thing that I do. So actually, as I was doing this, my roommate was like, wait, this is very different than how you curl my hair. So for those of you who are looking at this and are like, this is not, like, this cannot be the hair that you have on a regular basis. This is how my hair looks when I curl it fresh out of the shower, having not been straightened or blow dried or anything like that. And this is how it looks on the first day. So what's great about this hairstyle is that it will last you for 3 days. And I actually think I did a tutorial where I talked about this ages ago. So what I'll do is I'll curl my hair like this the first day. The second day it'll be a lot looser. And the third day it'll be just kind of wavy. So this is what my hair looks like if I just curl it on the first day. It's pretty tight. Like I said, you can use a bigger curling barrel. You can use a bigger barrel if you want looser curls. Or alternatively, you can straighten your hair before you do it if you're someone like me who has hair that holds a curl really well. And then if you curl it, it's going to be really loose waves. So if you're interested in seeing a tutorial on that, it's the same exact principle and the same exact method, but I just straighten my hair first. I can go ahead and do that for you. Otherwise, I will point it out in my next video that I'm wearing it so you guys can see the results. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can see, it's really simple. It's just varying up your classic technique a little bit, and it does give you really great bouncy waves. And the thing about it is that it damages the ends of your hair less than your typical method of curling just from the bottom up, because your ends don't need to be in the curling iron quite as long as the upper part of the shaft, just because they're already damaged. They're already going to hold a curl really well, whereas the newer, healthier hair is going to hold one really well. So it makes sense to target more heat on the upper half of the hair than on the bottom half. So that's it for the tutorial. As you can see, it is really simple. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And I think we'll try to get this one to 500 thumbs up, because I know you guys can do it. You guys are the best. You've been getting my videos up to like really high numbers of thumbs up, so that makes me so happy. Anyway, if you did enjoy, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below telling me what your favorite hairstyle is, what you thought about this. Do you curl your hair like this? How do you curl it? I'm curious to know. And yeah, I will see you guys next Tuesday for my first video in my Valentine's Day series. I'm so excited to show it to you guys. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.